If you think being a gentleman means being a pushover, stick around because what happened that night at Murphy's Tavern wasn't just disrespect. It was the beginning of the end for a woman who thought she could test a good man until he broke. My name is Troy Davidson. I'm 61 years old, and I used to think I had everything figured out. A successful woodworking business I built from the ground up after 20 years in the Navy. A wife who seemed to support my vision, and a life that looked good from the outside. The kind of life people see and think you've got it made. But looking good and being good are two very different things, and I was about to learn that lesson the hard way. I should have known something was off when Lisa started spending more time on her laptop than helping with Davidson woodworking. We'd built the business together, or at least that's what I told myself. I was the craftsman, spending 12-hour days in my shop creating custom furniture pieces that people actually wanted to buy. She handled the marketing, took photos, managed our social media presence. On paper, it looked like a partnership. In reality, I was doing 90% of the work while she took credit for our success online. The first real warning sign came about 3 months before everything fell apart. Lisa had started going out more with her friends. Girls' nights, she called them. Crystal Rodriguez, her best friend from her marketing days, would show up at our door every Friday like clockwork. "Don't wait up," Lisa would say, kissing me on the cheek like an afterthought. "We're just networking for the business." I never questioned it. Why would I? We'd been married for 4 years. I trusted her. That trust, as it turns out, was the most expensive mistake I ever made. The night everything changed started like any other. I was in the shop, finishing a walnut dining table for a client in Charleston when Lisa poked her head in around 7 p.m. "Crystal wants to grab drinks at Murphy's Tavern," she said, already dressed to go out. "You mind if I skip dinner?" I looked up from the wood grain I'd been studying and shrugged. "Go ahead. I'll probably work late anyway." She smiled, but something felt off about it. "You always do," she said. That should have been a clue. The resentment hiding just beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment to break through. Her friends dared her to embarrass me that night. She did, and that's when I walked away for good. Though I didn't know it yet, sitting in that workshop with sawdust on my hands and trust in my heart, I had no idea that within 3 hours my wife would make a choice that would unravel everything we'd built. The thing about being both a veteran and a craftsman is you learn to notice details. A 1/4 inch off on a joint, a slight warp in the wood grain, the way a plan falls apart if you don't follow protocol. These small things separate quality work from garbage, and I'd built my reputation on noticing them. So it kills me now, looking back, that I missed all the details in my own marriage. 2 weeks before the incident at Murphy's Tavern, Lisa started acting different, not obviously different, just off by degrees. She'd always been active on social media, posting our furniture pieces, sharing customer testimonials, building what she called our brand presence. But suddenly she was on her phone constantly, typing with this little smile I didn't recognize. "What's so funny?" I asked one night while we were watching TV. She glanced up, startled. "Oh, nothing. Just Crystal being Crystal." I nodded and went back to my woodworking magazine. Didn't push, didn't question, just accepted the explanation because that's what you do when you trust someone. 3 days later, I came home early from a lumber supply run and found her laptop open on the kitchen counter. The screen was still lit, showing some kind of blog interface I didn't recognize. I wasn't snooping, not intentionally. I just walked past and saw the header at the top of the page, "Living with a Navy Dinosaur" by Lisa D. Below that, a subtitle that made my stomach drop. Day 43. He's so focused on his precious wood projects that he barely notices when I test him. Sometimes I wonder if he'd even care if I documented everything for my readers. Today I tried something new, stayed out until 2 a.m. He was asleep when I got back, didn't even ask where I'd been. My chest tightened. I recognized that night from 2 weeks ago when she said she and Crystal had lost track of time at some wine bar downtown. I'd been finishing a rush order for a client, working until midnight, and crashed hard when I finally got to bed. I heard footsteps on the stairs and quickly stepped away from the counter. Lisa appeared a moment later, wet hair from the shower, wearing one of my old Navy shirts. "Hey," she said, moving toward the laptop. Her eyes flicked to the screen, then to me. "You're back early." "Supplier had everything ready," I replied, keeping my voice neutral. "Figured I'd get started on the Harper Commission." She closed the laptop without looking at it, casual as anything. "Want some lunch first?" I was about to make sandwiches. "Sure," I said. We ate together at the kitchen island, talking about nothing important. She mentioned Crystal was planning something for her birthday next month. I mentioned the Harper Commission might take longer than expected because they wanted hand-carved details. Normal conversation, normal afternoon. Except now I knew she was writing about our marriage online, framing me as some oblivious boomer husband who couldn't see past his workbench. The worst part? I didn't confront her, didn't ask about the blog or demand to know what else she'd written. I just finished my sandwich, kissed her on the forehead, and went back to the shop like nothing had happened. Looking back, that might have been my last chance to stop what came next. A simple conversation, some honesty, maybe even counseling. But I was raised Navy. You work through problems quietly, you don't air your dirty laundry. So I kept quiet, kept working, kept pretending I hadn't seen those words on that screen. And Lisa kept writing, kept pushing, kept waiting to see when I'd finally break. She didn't have to wait long. The breaking point was already scheduled for Friday night at Murphy's Tavern, though neither of us knew it yet. Her friends had been reading that blog, cheering her on, daring her to push harder. Friday night came faster than I expected. I'd spent the week working on the Harper Commission, trying to lose myself in the familiar rhythm of measuring, cutting, sanding. But every time I looked up from the workbench, I'd catch myself thinking about that blog post, the casual cruelty of it, the way she'd turned our life into entertainment for strangers. "You coming out tonight?" Lisa asked that afternoon, poking her head into the shop. She was already dressed for the evening, wearing jeans and a top I hadn't seen before, probably ordered with our business account and called it a marketing expense. "Where?" I asked, not looking up from the drawer pull I was installing. "Murphy's Tavern, Crystal's birthday thing, remember?" I mentioned it like 3 times this week. I had no memory of her mentioning it at all, but I nodded anyway. "I've got a lot to finish here." "Troy." Her tone shifted, took on an edge. "It's one night. You can't spare a few hours for my best friend's birthday?" I set down my screwdriver and looked at her. Really looked at her. There was something in her expression I couldn't quite read. Anticipation, maybe, or challenge. "What time?" I asked. 8. "Don't be late." She disappeared back into the house and I returned to my work. Something felt off about the whole thing, but I couldn't put my finger on what. It was just drinks with her friends. Nothing unusual. I should have trusted that instinct. Murphy's Tavern was packed when I arrived at 8:15. A local establishment with military memorabilia on the walls and veterans who gathered every Friday for what we called Brotherhood Night. The kind of place where respect mattered and everyone knew everyone's service record. I spotted Lisa immediately, sitting at a table with Crystal Rodriguez, Heather Williams, and Jennifer Thompson. All 3 of her friends were already several drinks in. "Look who actually showed up," Crystal announced when she saw me approaching. She raised her glass in a mock toast. "The Navy dinosaur himself." I forced a smile and pulled out the empty chair next to Lisa. "Evening, ladies." The next hour passed in a blur of forced conversation and overpriced beer. I nursed my drink while Lisa and her friends got progressively louder, their laughter sharp enough to cut through the ambient noise of the bar, drawing looks from the other veterans present. I caught fragments of their conversation, inside jokes I wasn't part of, references to people I didn't know. Then Heather leaned across the table, her voice dropping to a stage whisper loud enough for half the bar to hear. "So, Lisa, are you going to do it or what? Crystal dared you." Lisa giggled, a sound that now grated against my nerves. "I don't know. It's pretty bold." "Come on," Jennifer urged, her words slightly slurred. "You said he wouldn't even react. Prove it." I looked at Lisa. What are they talking about? She met my eyes, and for just a second I saw something like hesitation. Then it vanished, replaced by that challenging expression I'd been seeing more often lately. "Nothing," she said. "Just girl talk." I should have left right then, should have stood up, walked out, and never looked back. But I'd been raised to not make scenes, to handle problems privately, to give people the benefit of the doubt even when they'd stopped deserving it. So I stayed. And 10 minutes later, while I was mid-sip and talking to another veteran at a nearby table about his son's deployment, Lisa reached across our table and yanked my chair backward hard. The chair tipped. My beer went airborne, arcing in slow motion before crashing down across my chest and uniform shirt. Cold liquid soaked through my clothes as the bar fell silent around us. Her friends erupted in laughter. Crystal practically screamed with delight. Heather was recording on her phone, capturing every second for posterity. The other veterans in the bar had gone quiet, watching this display of disrespect with growing anger. I stood slowly, beer dripping from my Navy veteran shirt, and looked at Lisa. She was laughing too, though it sounded forced now, uncertain. The silence in Murphy's stretched uncomfortably. Her friends dared her to embarrass me, I said quietly, my voice cutting through the dying laughter. She did. I pulled my wallet from my back pocket, threw 2 20s on the table for my drinks, and met her eyes one last time. And that's when I walked away for good. I turned and walked toward the exit. Didn't run, didn't storm out, just walked with my head up and my dignity intact, even with beer staining my clothes and the entire bar watching. Behind me, the laughter had stopped completely. The veterans who'd witnessed this disrespect were murmuring among themselves, their disapproval obvious. I didn't go home that night. Couldn't face the idea of walking back into our house, our bedroom, pretending everything was fine when we both knew it wasn't. Instead, I drove to my shop, unlocked the side door, and sat in the darkness for an hour, listening to the silence. My phone started buzzing around midnight, Lisa calling, then texting. The messages started apologetic and quickly shifted to defensive. It was just a joke. Why are you being so dramatic? You're seriously not coming home over this? Troy, answer your phone. This is ridiculous. I read each one and didn't reply. What was there to say? That I'd seen her blog post? That I'd watched her turn our marriage into entertainment for her friends? That the woman I'd married had somehow transformed into someone I didn't recognize? Around 2 a.m., the messages stopped. I pulled out my phone and opened our business banking app. Joint account, both our names on it. I scrolled through 6 months of transactions and there it was, the pattern I'd been too busy to notice. Hair salon, $287. Clothing boutique, $412. Spa day with Crystal, $395. Dinners at restaurants I'd never eaten at, $156, $203, $178. She'd spent over $6,200 in the last 3 months on personal expenses, all categorized as business marketing expenses. Meanwhile, I'd been eating lunch from the vending machine at the lumberyard to save money for better tools. The anger that settled in my chest wasn't hot and explosive, it was cold, calculating, the kind of anger that doesn't make you throw things or yell, the kind that makes you start planning. 20 years in the Navy had taught me something valuable about strategic thinking. When someone declares war on your dignity, you don't respond with emotion, you respond with precision. By the time the sun came up, I had a plan. Not revenge exactly, just a systematic dismantling of the financial arrangement that had been draining me dry while she played lifestyle blogger. I also had 19 more text messages from Lisa, each one more accusatory than the last. The final one, sent at 5:47 a.m., read, "Fine, stay gone. See if I care." I replied with one word, "Okay." Then I got up, washed my face in the shop's utility sink, and started making calls. First to my Navy buddy Shane Collins, who specialized in veteran business law, then to the bank, then to our landlord about the commercial space lease that was in my name only. The military had taught me the value of documentation, proper procedures, covering your six, all skills that translated perfectly to protecting my assets from a toxic wife. By 9 a.m., I had a new business account set up at a different bank. By 10, I'd redirected my business email to a new domain she didn't have access to. By 11, I'd changed the locks on the shop and updated my will to remove her as beneficiary. All legal, all documented, all completely within my rights as the sole business owner. When my phone rang at noon and Lisa's name appeared on the screen, I finally answered. "Where are you?" Her voice was tight, anxious. "We need to talk about last night." "I'm at the shop," I said calmly, "working." "Troy, I'm sorry. The girls were drunk and stupid and I shouldn't have—" "Lisa," I interrupted, keeping my tone even. "I saw your blog." Silence long enough that I thought the call had dropped. "What blog?" she finally asked, but her voice had changed. Defensive. Caught. Living with a Navy dinosaur. Interesting reading, especially the part about testing whether I'd notice if you stayed out until 2 a.m. More silence. "We're done," I said simply. "I'm filing paperwork to remove you as an authorized user on the business accounts. You'll get a severance payment calculated at market rate for a social media manager. About $22,000. Troy, you can't just—" "I can and I am. The business is solely in my name, always has been. You want to fight it, hire a lawyer. But I've already talked to mine and he says I'm well within my rights." I ended the call, blocked her number, and got back to work where at least the problems had clear solutions. 3 days after I blocked Lisa's number, Crystal Rodriguez showed up at my shop. I heard the knock around 2 p.m. while I was applying finish to a custom bookcase. I opened the door to find her standing there looking uncomfortable in a way I'd never seen before. "Can we talk?" she asked. I stepped aside and let her in. "Lisa doesn't know I'm here," Crystal said without preamble. "And she'd kill me if she found out." "Then why are you here?" She pulled out her phone and held it out to me. "Because you need to see this." It was a group chat between Lisa, Crystal, Heather, and Jennifer. I scrolled up, reading messages that went back weeks. My stomach tightened with each new line. Crystal: "Lisa, does he even notice when you test him?" Lisa: "Last night I stayed out until 2:15 a.m. He was asleep when I got home. Didn't even ask about it this morning." Heather: "Girl, you've got him so trained." Lisa: "Watch this. I'm going to do something at Murphy's Friday. If he doesn't react, we'll know he's completely checked out." Jennifer: "What are you going to do?" Lisa: "You'll see. My readers will love it." Time to see if this old military guy is really as tough as he thinks. I handed the phone back to Crystal. "Why are you showing me this?" "Because I warned her not to do it," Crystal replied quietly. "A week before Murphy's, I told her to stop, that she was taking it too far, that you didn't deserve to be humiliated in public, especially not a veteran." She showed me their private message thread. Crystal: "Lisa, don't do this. Whatever you're planning for Friday, just don't. Troy's a good guy and a veteran. You're going to cross a line you can't come back from." Lisa: "You're being dramatic. It's just content for my blog. My followers eat this boomer husband stuff up." Crystal: "It's not content when he's the only one not in on the joke. You're going to regret this." Lisa: "He won't even care. Trust me. I know my husband." I looked at Crystal. "You could have told me before it happened." "I know," she said, "and I saw genuine regret there. I should have. I thought about it, even started typing your number a few times. But Lisa's been my friend for 8 years, and I thought maybe she'd come to her senses before Friday. She didn't." "No, she didn't." Crystal pocketed her phone, and now she's spiraling, calling me every hour, crying about how you won't answer her calls, how you've locked her out of everything. There's more, Troy. The blog Living with a Navy Dinosaur. It's been active for almost a year, not 3 months. A year. My chest tightened. How many posts? 63. All about you. About testing you, pushing boundaries, seeing how much she could get away with before her old military husband would finally crack. She's got 18,000 followers, 18,000 people reading about my marriage like it was entertainment. Did you know about it from the beginning? No. I found it about 2 months ago when she sent me a link, asked me to share it with my followers. Crystal looked down. I told her it was messed up, that she was going to destroy her marriage for internet attention. We had a huge fight about it. "But you still went to Murphy's that night." "Yeah, I did," she raised her chin, "and that's on me. I should have stayed home. Should have told you everything weeks ago. But I'm telling you now because someone needs to, and Lisa sure as hell won't." After Crystal left, I sat at my desk and thought about those 18,000 followers. 18,000 strangers who had been watching my wife document her campaign to break down my dignity. The humiliation went deeper than just that night at Murphy's. It had been building for months, documented and shared, turned into content for people's amusement. The call came from an unknown number Tuesday morning. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up on the 4th ring. "Troy, it's me," Lisa's voice, shaky and small. "Don't hang up, please. I should have ended the call right there. Instead, I set down my sandpaper and waited. I need to tell you something important. Make it quick. I'm working. I'm pregnant." The words hit like a physical blow. I sat down hard on my workbench, phone pressed to my ear, trying to process what she'd just said. "How far along?" I managed. 9 weeks. I found out yesterday. 9 weeks. That put conception around early March, right when things had started feeling off between us, before Murphy's Tavern, before I discovered the blog. "Congratulations," I said flatly. "Is that why you called?" "Troy, this changes things. We have to figure this out for the baby's sake." I closed my eyes, running through dates in my head. 9 weeks pregnant meant she'd known or suspected for at least 2 weeks before Murphy's Tavern. She'd felt the symptoms, missed periods, known something was different, and still went through with humiliating me in public. "Here's what's going to happen," I said, my voice colder than I'd ever heard it. "You're going to schedule a paternity test, the kind they can do during pregnancy, non-invasive, safe for the baby, and we're going to confirm this child is actually mine." "Are you serious right now?" Her voice rose, indignant. "You think I would cheat on you? I don't know what you'd do anymore, Lisa. A month ago I thought you'd never humiliate me in public either. So yeah, we're doing a paternity test. This is insane. Those are my terms. You want to use this pregnancy to manipulate me into staying, into forgetting what you did? Then we're doing this my way. Test first. Everything else comes after." "Fine," she finally said. "We'll do your stupid test. But when it comes back showing you're the father, you're going to feel like garbage for even suggesting it. Maybe. Or maybe I'll just feel relieved that I know for certain. Have your doctor contact mine with the testing information. Until then, we have nothing else to discuss." I ended the call and blocked the new number. The video went viral while I waited for paternity results. Not the shaky phone footage from Heather's Instagram, but the high-quality recording from Murphy's Tavern security camera that somehow made its way to YouTube. Someone had titled it, "Veteran Walks Away from Public Humiliation with Dignity." By evening, it had 2 million views. The difference between this version and the one Lisa's friends had shared was striking. This one had clear audio. You could hear Heather saying, "Come on, Lisa, Crystal dared you." You could see the exact moment Lisa made her choice, the way she looked at me before pulling that chair. Most importantly, you could hear my voice, quiet but clear. Her friends dared her to embarrass me. She did, and that's when I walked away for good. The comments section exploded with support. This veteran handled that with more class than most people could manage. Notice how he didn't yell, didn't make a scene, just stated facts and left. That's real strength. His wife and her friends are trash. Hope he finds better. Update. Found his woodworking business. His furniture is incredible. Just ordered a custom table. My wife's been reading this woman's blog for months. Disgusting how she treated a veteran like this. Glad he exposed her. That last comment repeated dozens of times. My shop phone rang constantly. Orders, interview requests, messages from veterans sharing their own stories and asking how I'd found the strength to walk away with dignity. I gave one statement to a local reporter. "I'm focused on my work and preparing for fatherhood. The past is behind me." But Lisa wasn't so lucky. Her blog got discovered by the same internet detectives who'd found the security footage. Someone archived every post before she could delete them and created a forum thread documenting her year-long campaign of testing me. The backlash was immediate and brutal. Her Instagram, which she kept public for brand building, got flooded with comments calling her manipulative, cruel, abusive. She locked it down within hours, but screenshots were already circulating. The very followers who'd enjoyed reading about her boomer husband experiments turned on her when they saw the real consequences of her actions. The paternity test took 3 weeks to process. When the envelope arrived, I called Shane Collins to be there when I opened it. "Whatever it says," Shane told me, "we handle it the right way. If it's yours, we set up fair custody and support. If it's not, we document it and shut down any future claims." I opened the envelope. The conclusion was clear. Probability of paternity, 99.97%. The baby was mine. I felt relief that I knew for certain, anger that I'd had to question it, and underneath everything, a determination that this child would grow up knowing their father was a man of integrity who protected his assets and his dignity. "All right," Shane said, already making notes. "Here's what we do. You acknowledge paternity, propose fair custody once the baby's old enough, child support by state guidelines, medical expenses split 50-50. What about her?" Shane shook his head. "The business separation stands. Pregnancy doesn't change your rights. She might try for spousal support, but given the documentation you have, any judge would deny it." I sent one email to Lisa's lawyer that evening. "Paternity test confirms I'm the father. I accept all parental responsibilities and am prepared to negotiate fair custody and support. Please send proposed terms for review. Troy Davidson." Her response came within the hour, forwarded through her attorney. "Thank God. Can we please talk now? Just the two of us? There's so much we need to discuss about the future." I read it twice, then replied through my lawyer. "All communication regarding custody and parenting will go through legal counsel. There is nothing to discuss privately. The boundary was set. The baby would be loved, supported, and cared for. But Lisa and I were done pretending we had anything left to rebuild together. 8 months later, I was finishing a commissioned dining room set when my phone buzzed. Labor started at Regional Medical. Thought you should know. I drove to the hospital with my heart pounding. Whatever had happened between us, this baby was innocent and deserved to have both parents present for their arrival. Lisa was in a private room, her mother beside the bed. Mrs. Patterson gave me a tight nod, civil but not warm. "Troy," Lisa said when she saw me, "thank you for coming." "How are you doing?" I asked, staying near the door. "Contractions every 5 minutes. Doctor says a few more hours." When they wheeled her to delivery, I waited outside with the other expectant fathers, reading woodworking magazines and checking my phone for business updates. 3 hours later, a nurse came out smiling. "Mr. Davidson, you have a daughter, 7 pounds 6 ounces, healthy and beautiful." A daughter. I followed the nurse to the nursery window and saw her for the first time. Tiny, perfect, wrapped in a pink blanket with dark hair like mine. They'd labeled her Bassinet, baby girl Davidson. Something shifted in my chest. Not reconciliation with Lisa, but fierce protectiveness for this little girl who would grow up knowing her father was reliable, present, and strong enough to walk away from situations that diminished him. She'd learn early that dignity isn't negotiable and that good men don't tolerate disrespect, even from wives. Lisa named her Grace Dorothy, using my mother's name without asking. I didn't object. Mom had been thrilled about becoming a grandmother despite the circumstances. The custody arrangement kicked in immediately. Structured visitation that would gradually increase to shared custody as Grace got older. 4 months after Grace was born, Mom passed away peacefully in her sleep. The inheritance came through exactly as she'd specified in her updated will. The family home on Maple Street worth $340,000 went entirely to me, nothing to Lisa. I converted the detached garage into a new workshop and made the main house a home for me and Grace during my custody days. The business was thriving beyond anything I'd imagined. The viral video had faded from daily conversation, but the reputation it built remained rock solid. Davidson Woodworking became known for quality, integrity, and furniture built by a craftsman who understood what it meant to stand firm. I'd hired 2 apprentices and was turning down more work than I could accept. On a Saturday afternoon last fall, I was teaching my lead apprentice proper joinery techniques when my phone buzzed. A message from Rachel Foster, a high school teacher who'd commissioned a dining set 3 months earlier. "The dining room looks amazing. Thank you again. Also, I know this might be forward, but would you be interested in getting coffee sometime?" I looked at the message for a long moment. Rachel was 49, divorced with grown children, appreciated craftsmanship for the right reasons. We'd talked easily when she'd picked up her furniture, and she'd mentioned being impressed by my work ethic and attention to detail. "Coffee sounds good," I typed back. "How's next Saturday?" Her response came quickly. "Perfect. Looking forward to it." I set down the phone and got back to work, showing my apprentice the proper angle for the chisel. Outside, autumn leaves were turning gold and red. Grace was with Lisa this weekend, but I'd have her Tuesday through Thursday. Life had found a rhythm that worked. The woman who'd humiliated me for internet content had faded into someone I saw twice a week at custody exchanges. Polite, distant, professional. The friends who'd cheered her on had scattered to their own problems. I'd walked away for good, just like I'd said I would. And in doing so, I'd discovered something better than the illusion I'd been living. I'd found clarity, purpose, and the quiet satisfaction of building something real with honest materials and traditional values. 20 years in the Navy taught me that some battles you fight, others you walk away from. The key is knowing the difference and having the strength to preserve your dignity when it matters most.